So we're continuing in Perek Revi, in the 4th chapter. So the Mechaber continues, he says as follows. So again, we're speaking about the bitachon, and obviously one of the areas in which we require such significant bitachon is in the area of parnasa, the area of making a livelihood. So what happens if a person is struggling with their livelihood? How does bitachon manifest itself in that situation? So the Mechaber says the person should say the following to himself: Ki asher hotzi'ani ala olam hazeh bizman yadua ve'eis yadua. The same HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought me into this world at a specific time. He took me out of the womb and brought me into the world at a specific time. So he says, V'lo hotzi'ani elav lifnei v'lo lachareim. Didn't bring me out any earlier or any later. Hu shema'aki imenu bo tarfi le'eis yadua v'yom yadua. He's obviously withholding my full parnasa till a certain time in a certain place. L'daito mashu tovli. So this is an incredible idea. So sometimes when a person doesn't feel like he's getting, so to speak, the full amount of the parnasa that he wants, that he needs, so a person should say to himself, the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who brought me into the world at a specific time, took me out of the womb at a specific time, brought me in not one moment later, not one moment earlier, that same HaKadosh Baruch Hu will also know when it is the right time to give me the parnasa that I need. V'chein, kasher yiva'eu tarfa mitzumtzam lo yoser amazon l'uma, roi lach shavli v'yomer. Okay, so that's case one. Case one is where a person just feels that things aren't falling into place as quickly as he would like them. Situation number two is a person has parnasa, but it's not as much as he would like. In other words, it's able to cover his basic needs, but nothing more. So what should a person say? V'asher hechen li mezoni b'shdei imim b'tchilas inyoni kati tzarki v'dei kalkalasi yom yom ad asher hemer oso lifto mimenu. So this is the same Hashem who, when I was born, right, gave me enough to eat from my mother, right? My mother fed me every single day, and ultimately, again, gave me exactly what it is that I needed. And then ultimately, again, exchange it for something better. So this is beautiful. In other words, what he's saying is like this: the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me exactly what I needed in the womb, and the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me exactly what I needed when I nursed. The same HaKadosh Baruch Hu always provided me with exactly what I needed when I needed it. Is the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu ultimately, again, who's giving me what I need now. In other words, what the Mechaber is saying is, on a bitachon level, and this is sometimes hard for us to accept, but what I have is what I need. Maybe it's not what I want, but it's absolutely what I need. Next. So situation number one is a person who feels like things aren't falling into a place and the timeline that he wants. So to that, the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu will control the timeline of my existence, will control the timeline of parnasa. Situation number two, a person doesn't feel they have enough parnasa. The same Ribbon Shalom gave me exactly what I needed when I was in utero, when I was born and nursing, is the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives me exactly what I need now. Maybe it's not what I want, but it's absolutely what I need. Next, Niskar Alzeh. Kimo Sha'amar Abar. Now, a person who has bitachon on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though he doesn't have the level of parnasa that he would like, he says a person receives reward for this. Kimo Sha'amar Abar ala v'sinu b'midbar she'inyanam haya kazeh v'yatsa amvalaktu dvar yom biyomo. Just like our ancestors in the deserts, they got a small portion of man, or again, relatively a small portion of man. That's what they subsisted on, and day in and day out, they went out to get what they had, and that was it, and they believed in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So to a person maybe who feels that he's getting a little bit less than quote-unquote what he wants, but has faith that this is what I need, such a person receives reward from HaKadosh Baruch Hu as well. Ba'amar, haloch ve'karasi ba'aznei Yushalayim le'mar, ko amar Hashem zacharti lo chesed ne'urayich abas kilu lo sayich, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, remember again, as the Navi Yirmiyahu says, Hashem says about Klal Yisrael, I remember the fact that when you left Egypt, I remember the love of our youth, that you followed me into the desert with absolutely nothing. So the same way that we believed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was going to provide us with everything that we needed, and that's why we're willing to follow him into the desert, that's the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu sustains us now as well. B'chein, emivo'eu tarfo b'siba mibli siba, u'makom mibli makom, va'ayidei ish mibilti ish achar yom b'liba. What happens? Another case, another situation. What happens if a person's parnasa comes from a source that a person's not happy with, or from a person that a person's not happy with? In other words, I didn't want my parnasa to come from this guy. I don't like this guy, but now my parnasa is coming from him. Or my parnasa is maybe coming from a certain profession or a certain livelihood that I'm not enthralled with. What should I do? A person should say as follows. A person should say the following in his heart: Asher yitzarani al tsura v'tabnes utchunas umida midli sha'ar atzuros v'atchunas amidos atakanas inyoni. He, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, fashioned me with a particular form and shape, with certain character traits and dimensions, and he did this because that is what is best for me. Hu bachar li sheyavo tarfi ala aponim hamafikim leinyonai umidli sha'ar aponim. This is the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu who chose for me that my parnasa should come about in ways that are most suitable for my purposes and not in other ways that are not in my best interest. It's beautiful. He goes on, he's saying, Sima HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought me into this world in a specific place and through specific parents, not through other people. Some also sibla tarfi tovli. He's the same HaKadosh Baruch who chose that my sustenance, my parnasa, should come in a certain land, or literally a certain land, or through a certain person. As the pasuk says, ultimately, again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, literally Hashem is righteous in all of His ways. So a really profound idea. So if my parnasa is delayed, the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought me into this world at a particular time, not one moment early, not one moment later. That same HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what I need and when I need it. And if my parnasa is not enough, the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me exactly what I needed in utero will be the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu ultimately again who gives me exactly what I need. Maybe not everything that I want, but exactly what I need. And the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu ultimately again, and if I'm unhappy with the source of my parnasa, I don't like where it's coming from, the same HaKadosh Baruch Hu who brought me in, gave me a particular source, gave me particular parents, brought me into the world in a certain way. This is where He wants my parnasa to come from, and therefore by definition, it must be good. Okay, Shkayach Habar, we'll stop over here for today. Wonderful. Such a source to continue in this limud together. I'll go to Bach.